Did I say it right? Oh, okay. She is a nursing officer. So, you're welcome, ladies, to The Zone. It's always good when I have female guests, even though my producer is, I mean, he can feel however he wants to feel, but yeah. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. So, let's dive right into it. First of all, BISAYEN is what? I mean, in Chief, somebody says BISAYEN is like ask a question, right?
Exactly.
So, BISAYEN, like ask us a question.
Yes. So I think you said it's spot on.
Okay.
So BISAYEN is ask us.
Okay.
Or if you want to say it in Ga, biwo.
Okay.
And it just means that ask us anything or everything concerning breast cancer. So that is it, yes.
Right.
So BISAYEN is it's a Pfizer-funded project, and it's going to run for 2 years.
Okay.
And the whole point is to help breast cancer patients to go through their journey successfully and then come out victorious and to give hope to people. Basically, that's what BISAYEN is all about, yes.
Right. And, I mean, whose initiative is this project?
So I think it's being managed by the Global Outreach Consortium.
Okay.
That's who we actually work for. So
Okay.
Global Outreach Consortium is doing this with, like she said, it's a Pfizer-funded project.
Okay.
And then we have a team of communicators like us, Adjoa and myself.
Okay.
And then a team of medical doctors also who work on the project. And our tagline is Ask Us, Touch Us. So it's not just ask us, but touch us, because we want to show empathy for breast cancer patients as well. Yes.
Right. And why breast cancer?
Well, if you look at the statistics, we have a lot of women developing breast cancer, especially in Ghana. So as of now, it is the number one cause or the number one cancer that affects women in Ghana.
Okay.
And so we are thinking that, listen, it is something that is worth talking about. Usually we talk about breast cancer only in October.
Yeah.
And we are asking, why are we talking about it only in October when people are getting infected or people are getting diagnosed on a daily basis?
Yeah.
So basically that is what it's all about. I just want to add to what Nannah Aba said earlier. So Global Outreach Consortium is an NGO, and all we do is partner with institutions to give health care to underprivileged people in
Okay.
Ghana and beyond.
Okay.
So this actually came in good because Pfizer thought that, listen, this is going up, and so we need to help women, especially in Ghana.
Okay. All right. I like what you mentioned about, reserving the month of October to have conversations about breast cancer, which is not the best, because I also believe that what it has done is that it lets a lot of women wait around for October before,
Yeah.
trying to get tested, trying to do, everybody just waits around because they feel like, oh, but it's only January. It's October is around the corner. I'll wait. And then I'm sure there'll be some free screening somewhere and I'll go, which I feel
It's
maybe
really
doing more harm
Spot on.
than good,
Yeah,
It should
true.
be, we cannot
true.
wait for 1 month to make that happen. It should be a conversation that happens every day.
Yeah.
And I'm told you have a helpline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
So just to add to what you said, we went somewhere recently, I think one of the churches that we're trying to engage. And then as soon as we said breast cancer, the Reverend said, oh, but that's for October, just like he said. So we have breast all year round, and anything can happen to our breast, any time of the year. So waiting for October obviously isn't the best. Yes, we can climax it in October, but for this project, it's an all year round project. So yes, we have a helpline,
Okay.
which is exciting. It's the first ever breast cancer helpline in Ghana.
Okay.
We have a toll-free number, and then we have another number for other networks. The toll-free number is for MTN.
Okay.
And then we have a number for other networks, which will you'll be charged, some charges. But then our nurse is a call center agent. She's an agent, so I think she can speak
okay.
for her experiences so far.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, so people have started calling.
Yes. I mean, the project started, I think, in June.
Okay.
In January.
So in January, actually,
Yes.
but the helpline itself started somewhere around June.
Okay.
So, like she said, the call agents are professionals. We have qualified doctors, qualified nurses, pharmacists who have been trained
Okay.
to actually speak to these patients, and it's not just for the patients actually. It's open to the general public as well. So you can be a breast cancer patient, you can be a relative of a breast cancer patient who wants to know more, and then you can just call. As a member of the general public, you can just call, state your concerns, ask your questions. You know, sometimes at the hospital, we have people come in at very late stages, and one thing we actually advocate for when it comes to breast cancer is early treatment.
True.
So I think this helpline would help people who have seen, you know, some signs, some symptoms, who would want to ask questions, because people are shy when it comes to the breast. I mean, from
when it comes to everything,
when it comes to everything, actually, they're shy. You know, coming to the hospital, trying to get professional opinions on, you know, these matters, it becomes a little bit of an issue. So I think this helpline is actually it has been put in place to help, you know, care about these issues that we face as professionals. Come to us, speak to us, call us, and it's open, you know, the whole day. It runs from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. actually. So
it's 24
hours actually. So whichever time you call, you may be shy to call in the morning. Call at 12 a.m. You would find someone on the line ready to speak to you. So yeah, like she rightly said, it's here to help. So we hope people would actually jump on board. And then since it starts, we've actually received some calls actually. I think the buzz is not yet out there so much, but then we've received some calls. We've spoken to some people, very curious people. I mean, someone would just call and ask a very curious question. You're like, hey, why is this person asking? But these are concerns of people that they want to have answers to. So yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And you speak all languages?
So right now the languages are 3: English and Dabani.
And Ga.
And Ga.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
So when you
no foreign languages?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. All right. Okay. That's very interesting. And
just to add to that, I think the language choice is also because of the regions that we're working in now.
Okay.
So our focus now is in the Greater Accra region, working with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Okay.
And then the Ashanti region, working with Komfanoche, and then Tamale Teaching Hospital for the Northern region.
Right.
Hence the choice of languages. And we hope that in future we can expand, but at least for now, it's a multilingual helpline.
Absolutely.
And most people can call and have their concerns addressed.
That's great. I love that. I wish that, you know, for everything there could be a helpline. Because, you know, there's a thing about Ghanaians. I don't know why it's such a problem to, how do I even put this? It's a problem for a lot of Ghanaians, for the majority of Ghanaians, to go to places where they can actually get help, right? I don't know, for some reason, if I have to go and see a doctor, even me, you know, even me when I have to go and see a doctor, like, I'm dreading it. And half the time when I go, whatever my complaints are, I end up forgetting some of them, like for some reason. And when I'm out of the room, I'm like, oh, I forgot this. You know, the last time I had to tell a nurse again that I forgot something, I need to go back and say it. And people are really shy and uncomfortable to go and express their feelings. But I'm sure that if they could sit in the comforts of their homes and express and say what it is they are feeling or how they are feeling, it's easier, especially the language barrier. Because people have this, feeling that if I go and see a doctor, or to mean
when you're even describing your condition, you're not able to say
you
how
can't
you're feeling.
express properly because you feel like, hey, we will send you an email, you know what I mean? And people have these genuine concerns. And I'm really happy that, the helpline especially is here, because I believe this will go a very long way.
It will.
And also because it's 24 hours.
Natalia, let me just put in a caveat here.
Okay.
So we're trying the 24 hours for the first month. So from now, we started on the 15th of July.
Okay.
Up until the 15th of August, we want to try out how it pans out, because we want to see what times the traffic comes in.
Okay.
So we also recognize the fact that people come into contact with hospitals, nurses, and all that, and probably by the way they are spoken to, they have concerns. I'm like, so who am I going to speak with? So I came to the hospital, and this is what they told me. So the helpline is here 24/7, even in the night. When you wake up and for some reason you are unable to sleep, you're a patient, you're a survivor, you want somebody to talk to, just pick up the phone and call. Subsequently, it may be reduced to maybe 12 hours, but we'll let the public know. I think I must also say that Starr FM, you've done very well by helping us put this out to help Ghanaians so they can call and then get the needed help that they really require. Thank you.
That's wonderful. So how do people call? What I mean, I think that Nannah Aba was talking about
Yeah.
The
MTN
numbers, yes.
having
So
So
I'll
can
share
you
the
take us
numbers.
through? Yes.
Okay,
So okay.
for the toll-free number for MTN, so every MTN holder, if you have an MTN number, you can call 0800 332200.
Okay.
0800 332200, and it is free. We bear the cost.
Okay.
If you are not on MTN for any other network, you have to call 030 824943.
Okay.
So 030 824943. So
Okay.
that is for non-MTN users. Yes.
Yeah. This is
Everybody, almost
wonderful.
everybody has a friend who has an MTN.
MTN.
So if it's a problem,
Yeah.
just use someone's someone's phone and
Yeah.
then call.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I mean, I know we're talking breast cancer, but another area that I believe strongly that could use a helpline is mental health.
Yes.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
So I would put in a request, since Global Outreach Consortium
Yes.
is an NGO, we partner with other institutions as well.
Right.
So it would be a good thing to partner with any institution to look
Right.
at
Wants
mental
to do
health.
this,
Yes.
So it's a good thing
It
that
is.
we
Because
It
our
is.
breast cancer patients, I mean, for a lot of people, once you're diagnosed or you're told that you have breast cancer, it definitely affects your mental health. And for
It
almost
does.
every other
It
disease,
does.
plus, of course, our regular day-to-day, you're talking
does.
about finances earlier on and
It
all
does.
of that.
Another thing that is so unpopular, but I find it such a concern is, I mean, for me, seeing your parents' age, right? It does something to your mind. It's not talked about enough for me, right? It's not talked about enough because when you're little, you know your parents. I mean, they are healthy and strong, and like, I mean, if you had a dad like mine, he was a giant. He's big and tall and muscular, and has all the energy, does everything, and you've seen that for a very long time. And then one day you wake up and he's so frail and can barely do anything. And people don't teach us how to transition, into that. And it has a way of doing something to your mind, like what is going on. Because on one hand, you're thinking, wow. And then on the other hand, you're thinking also, I also will be this in the future. Like my kids will grow and our age. And, there's a lot that your mind does that we are not taken through processes to understand stages and all of that. And not everybody transitions well.
Yes.
When it comes to, their mental state, which for me is like a big thing. I like, because our everything, all the conversations we're having here, the ability to do what you do, our lives center on our mental health. When you lose that, you have lost everything.
keep the partnership coming.
Yeah.
And I think even for a
Yeah.
lot of survivors of breast cancer and for many other, it's also for those who are actually strong mentally,
Right.
and emotionally. Because the minute you give up there or you give up, then it means that already you're nearing,
Yeah.
the point of failure. But once
Yeah.
your mental health is okay, then
Yeah.
yes, it's easier.
It's
to survive.
easier.
And just to add on, I think it's a very good initiative if we should take that on, because
Yeah.
I think the helpline is the first of its kind here in Ghana.
Focusing on
Focusing on breast cancer.
Okay.
So it would be very nice, like you're saying, to actually have another helpline
Yeah.
that actually looks at other issues.
Other
like mental
issues.
health and all
That will be fantastic. So how has the helpline impacted, the communities that you're centered in? I think Nannah Aba mentioned, Konfanoche, your
Kumasi,
Kumasi,
the
Accra,
northern
the
region.
northern region. How would you say the helpline has impacted these?
Okay, so just to digress a little, I think Adjoa will take that because she was our first call center agent, so she has she has an experience that I would want her to
Right.
share. But apart from the helpline, we actually we go into communities, so we activate in communities, in schools, in churches, in Muslim communities, and we've been doing that for the past couple of months. We've been to the northern region, we've been to Kumasi twice. We've had activations twice in Kumasi. In Accra, we went Shukura, speaking to the Muslim community. We've been to a couple of churches.
Right.
I think even next week, we've been blessed to be able to go to Laboni Secondary School to speak to the students, catch them young, we said, because they also need to understand the implications and what it means, how to do self-breast examinations. And the younger generation tends to be influencers for their parents. They are teaching their parents TikTok and Instagram and all sorts. So at least if they know this, they'll be able to educate them. So it's not just the helpline, but we're doing so much more on the field, on the ground, speaking to people and getting the message out there. And of course, focusing on empathy and breaking down the silence and helping people understand the facts, the realities, and then the myths as well.
Okay, so I'll take it up from where Nannah Aba ended. So in the course of this journey, we have realized that a lot of people have misconceptions. They are misinformed about the breast cancer issue. And so this helpline is actually helping us to deal better with the people that come into the consulting rooms at the various points that we work with.
Right.
So if you take, say, Confanoche, and you go to the society, and then in your interactions with the community, they say, oh, I know that when I have breast cancer, I can't eat with another person in my family because it's contagious. So this is an opportunity to demystify or debunk that myth.
Right.
And then to give the person hope and give the person the right information.
Right.
So the helpline actually enables people to call. And then they ask, okay, so this is what I heard. Is it true? So the moment I hear that, listen, I can't eat with Natalia because I have breast cancer, then it is likely that people are going to shun my company.
Right.
So we have people who are even what's the word? Aside demystifying the myth, we have people who are discriminated against because of
quite
that.
a lot.
Yeah.
And the helpline opens the floor for everything to be settled. You can call in, get the right information, even if it is my mother, even if it is my sister. Men also have breast cancer.
True.
So it could be an uncle. How do we deal with it? What can we do? What can I do better? The outlook that we even have as patients would determine the kind of things that we're going to be in the future. We can survive because of our outlook, like you said, because of your mental health. So once we have that, it is easier for people to walk in to the hospital. And the other thing is, BISAYEN is not coming to diagnose patients.
No.
But then if somebody has gone to the hospital and they said, this is what has happened, the person says, okay, I'm even scared to go back to the hospital. On the helpline, somebody called. My wife has been diagnosed. She's gone through the surgery. Now she has another swelling somewhere. So she's now scared. And so we have to speak with the person, said, oh, this is normal. It doesn't mean that that swelling is also cancerous. Have you gone to see the doctor with this swelling? Says yes. What did the doctor say? The doctor said, we'll do some tests and all that, but you'll be fine. I'm like, yes, the doctor said it, you will be fine. So it is a way of reassuring people, giving them hope, and to go through the journey as you have started in the hospital with you. Just so you know that you are not alone. There are people who are behind you, supporting you to go through it.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful because, we all need some reassurances every now and again, especially when you're going something that's scary. You're familiar with your body. You know how you can jump up and down and do things. And if for some reason one day you wake up and something has changed, it would definitely take a toll on you.
Yeah.
And you need somebody to be there for you, with you, and to assure you that everything is going to be okay. And as we're on the topic of breast cancer, I think one of the things we also have to do is, a lot of people attach a lot of spirituality to these things. In fact, not just breast cancer, to a lot of health. My mom said to me one time that, don't say you have this. Don't say it. Don't say. Well, if you're saying it, you're accepting it. What do I? Don't say it. And I know, and she wasn't even saying that on a spiritual angle, but she just believes that don't
accept.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know people who have been diagnosed with this and that, and they left the hospital and never went back
until it was too late.
Obviously,
they come back.
They never went back, but said to themselves that I will not accept this diagnosis. I rebuke this diagnosis in the mighty name of Jesus. And I mean, for us Christians, yes, we believe in Jesus. Yes, we believe in prayer and all of that. But we also believe that, God in his infinite wisdom made some people go through a certain path to be knowledgeable enough to treat us when we have these problems. So it all comes together beautifully, right? So you need to allow doctors do what they have to do, but people don't understand that. And I don't know if you have encountered some of these things, like how do you deal with that? People would say, no, I will pray it away.
So when we went to Shukura, for instance,
Right.
the community, one of the Hajjers who supported us in getting the people to talk to, she said they had a member who had died from breast cancer because she refused treatment. I mean, she died in her home. You have people, like you said, who are afraid. But then we always preach this: early detection saves lives. We have a lot of survivors, breast cancer survivors, because they detected early. And of course, if you detect early and you don't do anything about treatment, and early treatment, saves lives as well. So yes, and that's another reason why the helpline is there, for people to actually call early enough and then start treatment early
enough.
Without
Interesting.
losing it.
And then I've also heard people say that, I will use lifestyle to change it. They said this, but now I will cut back on this and that, and I'll eat. Oh no, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. And it's a idea. And it will go away. And I don't know if it's we're not giving enough education for people to understand.
Let me just add, at the hospital especially, you have people coming diagnosed with all sorts of cancers. Let me just, but then the mindset is that let me go home, let me exercise, let me eat well. I wasn't eating well before, so let me go eat well. Probably things will change. The cancer cells will stop, multiplying, stuff like that. You hear that a lot. And you see, we are running an era where you cannot force people. True. So they would go home. The cancer would, become very invasive or non-invasive. Actually, it would spread, and then the whole situation becomes worse off than before, and then they eventually die. So these are actually real life situations we actually experience at the hospital. But then, when you are diagnosed with cancer, you have to know that the fact that you have been diagnosed means there is nothing around lifestyle or changing your diet or exercising that can change your current diagnosis, rather than treating what you have. So the lifestyle and the eating well, the exercising, regular exercising, eating, that comes with the prevention actually. So if you want to prevent getting cancer, you have to do these things. But then when you are diagnosed, you need to treat it. So it comes with the surgery, the chemotherapy, the hormonal therapy, the radiation therapy, all that. But then if you focus on changing my lifestyle, you can add those things when you are receiving treatment, but then you cannot only focus on, and like you were saying, that the Christianity aspect is important. Even we advocate for
support from church.
Yes, support from church. People attaching their beliefs to treatment. If you are receiving treatment and then you have belief in a superior power that is helping you, they tend to actually partake more in the treatment because they believe that there's this saying, God helps those who
help
themselves. So if I'm helping myself, then it means God is you get it
me.
exactly. So I think it's just the education, like you're saying.
Natalia, just a quick one. So the project BISAYEN is actually targeting three areas or three different groups.
Okay.
The first, or the primary group, are those who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. That's the first one. And the research that we conducted before we came up with this also indicated that for especially us in Ghana, the cases that we present, 70% of them present when the case is in the latter stage, or they would have presented and they would have been told that this is what you have, and then they go home or they abscond. Some people actually start the treatment and they abscond. So the project is also targeting them to come back to the treatment room, okay? Because when you go back, then by the time you come back, it is really out of your hands. You can't do much. And then the third category would be the people who are caring for these patients. So they could be health workers, doctors, nurses, family members, because cancer really has a toll on everyone, including family. And so we are helping all three categories to come together just so we can forge ahead and then find a solution to it. It is curable if you present early. There is hope if you present early. Yes.
Yeah, as with everything else,
Yes.
right? Because we have a segment on the zone called Doctor's Note, and every time I have a conversation with the doctor, for the many doctors who come through, they always say that at the first sign, and for me, personally, as a rule of thumb, I always say to myself, because growing up, would watch commercials that will say if symptoms persist for more than 3 days. So, yes, please. So that's for me. That's how I operate. Like if something starts bothering me, I would do first day, second day, third day. I know I have to go, right? But if first day I do first aid and it goes second day, I know, okay, I'm good. Something is okay. And so it's important that people, because you know your body, you know how you feel, especially for women, before the time of the month, you know. Exactly. These days, people can even tell when they are ovulated. They don't need to check anything. No. You know your body. Yeah. You know when this is happening and that is happening. So when something strange is going on, you can feel it. You feel that something is not right.
So one of our campaigns says know your breast.
Yeah.
So know your breast means that on a monthly basis you are checking, you are doing the self-breast examination. So you know that, oh, it feels like this, it feels like that, it looks like this, it looks like that. So the moment there is any change, you are the first person to notice.
You can tell.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is where you seek help, because it didn't used to be like this. No, this part is sagging, or this part is, or there's a discharge, or that.
Yeah.
So because you already know your breast, you realize that this is not part of me. I need to go get it checked. Yeah.
And I think strangely enough, we've realized that a lot of Ghanaian women don't know their breast. I don't know if it's because of the way we are brought up, you know, the sex topic. If you look at yourself, you're being vain. Yeah. So a lot of women don't know their breast. They don't know what their nipples look like. They don't know the texture of their breast. And this is something that's very important.
Yes, the color.
We realized, we heard in Kumasi, and we understood that some of the breast cancer patients, it was their husbands or their spouses that actually realized the change, because the men know their breasts more than they know it themselves. Breast, you know. So every woman, like Adjoa said, must know your breast, so that you can tell the least change, you know, the slightest change. You should be able to know that this is not normal for me.
Yeah, and people should be interested in education, right?
Yes,
people should be. Because one of the things I learned on all the many breast cancer forums that I've attended and watched and whatever, is that your breast will actually spread all the way to under your pits.
Yes.
So that sometimes people will focus on just what is protruding. Yeah. And so sometimes you may have a certain lump or something under your arms, but you don't think that is part of what is happening. You are not concerned because you feel like, oh, but my breast proper, they are fine. They look okay, you know. So I think people should be really interested in education.
Yeah, and then also to add on, I think one other thing Ghanaians are actually really scared of is clinical examination. People tend not to do their regular checkups from monetary situations, from just, I don't want people to look at me. I don't want anyone to look at my nakedness. I don't want another person to look at my breast, you know, stuff like that. But it's very important, like you're saying, you may miss something there. But if you know, at least once a year, you visit the hospital, just undergo a clinical examination. Let a professional look at your breast. Let them feel your breast, see what's going on around it. They may detect something you may miss during your monthly, you know, examination. And then if you are above 40 years, I think that's one thing we've been advocating for, mammography. I think it's a bit common now, but people still do not, you know, want to get their breast checked through a mammogram. So I think, like you were saying, check yourself, but at least get the clinical examinations to let the professionals check your breast, let them go through, see if everything is right, so you can be in the clear. Yeah,
Wonderful. I've completely enjoyed this conversation. I love it when I'm learning a lot of things, you know. It's always good to learn. So I would want you to repeat the helplines again.
Okay.
Yes.
So for MTN callers, you can call 0800 33 2200 0800 332200. And for all other networks, you can call 030 8249 430. 030 8249 430. Call now. Help workers are.
Yeah.
That's our LPM
yes.
right there.
Yeah.
But
So
we
you
also
can
have
call now.
a very active, well, we're trying to be as active as we can be on
Okay.
social
Socials.
media.
Okay.
We post videos, so people should follow us. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Bisayen. Ask Us Touch Us on Facebook.
Okay.
Bisayen on LinkedIn, and then Bisayen on Instagram. So please follow us. You will learn so much on our
Okay.
social media.
Okay.
pages
You can learn how to do the self-breast examination on our videos.
On
yes.
the videos. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I've
so
really
much.
enjoyed your company.
Thank you.
Great company. So, Thursday, Monday, Friday,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Funny enough, I'm Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I was named after my great grandma.
And
So
I'm
I'm actually an
and
Ifwa.
on Monday.
Oh, you are Monday.
Yes,
Yeah,
I-
you're Adjoa,
yes,
right?
I'm
Yeah.
Monday.
So Monday, Thursday. Okay, Friday. Monday, Friday. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
All right. So this is The Zone on Star 103.5 FM. I'm sure that you have learnt as much as I have. 20